Hello everyone, my name is Zach Richardson. Today I'll be talking to you guys about what makes me unique and the elements that I have and that I use to allow me to thrive in the business world. So to start us off, there's a quote that I had found, and I found this a couple years ago that really kind of resonates with me and who I am as a leader. It says, "A leader is best when people barely know he exists. When his work is done, his aim is fulfilled. They will say, we did it ourselves." So a small context to that, don't want to get sidetracked here, but a small context to that is basically be that silent leader. Don't be that kind of person who is boastful about what they do, who really kind of gets in people's faces about the good works that they do. Be the one that is not boastful. Be the one that's there when people need it, and to grab their hand when they need their hand to be grabbed and need help. So that quote really always hits home. But to start us off here, I'm going to give you guys a preview of what I'll be talking about today in my presentation. So the preview is it's going to be talking about my communication style, my self-monitoring style, and my conflict management. So to get into that specifically, my communication style is a driver. I am self-driven. So to be a driver and have that communication style, you need to be a progressive thinker, you need to take the lead, and you need to get things done sooner than later. So obviously that can't be true for every situation, but for 9 times out of 10, that's who I am and what I'm doing. For an example with that, interaction with coworkers. So my interaction with my coworkers in terms of workers that have been working at a business that I work at for 8 years and me just starting there. Even though I have a lot less experience, I still tend to take the stand and do things that are asked that maybe people don't think I can do, or take a stand and say, hey, look, man, maybe we should do this, and instead of just kind of cowering back and letting things flow along. If I feel like I have a 2 cents about something, then I'll put my 2 cents out there. So that's really why it was spoke to me that I had a driver communication style. Going on to the next one, we are going to talk about my self-monitoring score, but specifically I want to talk about an adjective that I found. Put some thought into it as to what my score of 22 meant. And I feel like my score of 22 shows that I have awareness. And so to have a good self-monitoring score, or the higher your score is, the more likely you are this person and you have these traits. You got to be aware of how verbal and nonverbal cues affect situations. You got to be able to adapt to behavioral skills, and you got to be able to adapt to situations and get along with people. So if you could care less, what your facial expressions or your tone or how you're talking to someone affects them, or the problems it could cause, then you're probably more on the lower scale. But for me, I'm on the higher scale. I really, those things mean stuff to me. I don't like to make other people mad, and I like to make sure that I'm adequately being equivalent and matching their energy. If these other people are being nice to me, even if they've ticked me off, I deserve to give them respect, and they deserve that back from me to treat them the right way. So a good example of that, just a quick example, is I had bad service today in a drive-through, and I could have easily talked bad to the person and allowed myself to step out of the box, but instead I was very aware, and I told myself, am I going to get any personal gain from this? The answer was no. So instead of giving them my 2 cents, I got my food, said thank you, and drove off. So that's really something that showed me that I'm more aware and that I had a higher self-monitoring score, was because of those things. So going on to the next slide, I'm going to be talking about my conflict management. So my conflict management in particular was collaborating. For collaborating, the main bullet points on that is assertive, cooperative, and strive to work with others to satisfy all concerns and needs. So you're not more worried about yourself and more worried about what is your personal gain, but you're also worried about another person. You're also worried about another business, or it could be in any situation, but you are worried and want the best for whether it's your opposing side or your best friend or your dad's company or whatever it may be. You want to strive to help and to better the other side as well as you. So a mini example on that is I allowed a friend the past week to work on a job with me. He's at a lower standing in the job world in terms of the position he has for the company I work for, and I allowed him to come on the job with me. He did an exceptionally well job, and for that, my boss, they hired him in a position that is relatively similar to mine. And because of me doing that act, and because of me, not necessarily making a sacrifice, but doing something for someone else, he was able to get that job, and it meant a lot to him. So that's something that really kind of spoke to me in terms of collaborating. So today, pretty much what I had gone through and talked about in its entirety is all the personal skills that I think I have that are allowing me to thrive in the business world. Because it's not easy. You gotta have certain cues and certain things, and everyone's good for everything. So people may have completely different styles than me. They may not be collaborative. They may have had a lower or higher score than me on the social monitoring, but they fit where they fit, and I fit where I fit, and that's what makes the world go round. So I appreciate you guys listening to me today, and I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.